Okay, so this is my recent, almost theory, not my developing theory of everything. Okay, so I just wanted to put it out here. I'm gonna put all my information in this one video. So recently, first of all, we'll start off with the most important aspect that you need to know that the modern system doesn't really tell you is the logical progression of the spatial dimension. So infinite infinite zero-dimensional existence can stack into any size one-dimensional existence because the first dimension is length, and infinite amounts of nothing can stack into any size something. So now we follow the logical progression. Infinite amounts of one-dimensional existence can stack in any size two-dimensional existence, and infinite amounts of two-dimensional existence can stack in any size three-dimensional existence. So ultimately, when it comes down to it, um, infinite, if there's a fourth spatial dimension, then infinite three-dimensional existence can stack in any size four-dimensional existence. Okay, and one thing that we've recently learned is that black holes emit non-baryonic matter. There's a paper released on it. They observed that black holes are emitting non-baryonic matter or dark matter, and that means that, and that means that there's mass being ejected from there. And the best theory for this is that dark matter is composed of one-dimensional string membranes that get destroyed by the singularity of a black hole. So the black hole destroys the one-dimensional string membranes, and they become in a state in between zero and one-dimensional existence. Okay, so they're in between zero and one, and so it's we can, as us being made of regular string material, we cannot really view this material that's made of these destroyed one-dimensional strings. And there's logical progression saying that we should have one-dimensional black holes, two-dimensional black holes, and three-dimensional black holes. Like, all levels must work together in order to create um, the flow of the black hole, because otherwise the flow of the black hole wouldn't work, because it relies on the black holes existing within the first dimension, the second dimension, the third dimension. Otherwise it wouldn't flow, and none of it would work. And so when you think about this, ultimately it leads you to a conclusion. Another piece of it is that when now we think about the logical progression of spatial dimensions. Okay, and so if we live in a 3+1 system of space-time, then the relative state or shape of the universe should be compressed in a flat disk, because um, actually no, I said that wrong, because it should be in a spherical matter, because if we are a 3+1 of space and time, then we should have even distribution of matter in all directions from the Big Bang out, or whatever you want to call it, Big Bang, a cyclic universe, whatever you want to call it. Either way, there's a singularity and it blasts out according to observations. So um, because of that, you're able to have a system that, because it's blasting out from that singular point or whatever, you have you have it should be in a spherical manner, right? And it's not what we observe. We observe the relative state or shape of the universe in a flat accretion disk. Okay, and so this is this is exactly what's expected if we are not in a 3+1 system of space-time and there's a higher spatial dimension. Because if a higher spatial dimension exists, given the logical progression of the spatial dimensions, infinite three-dimensional spatial potentiality can stack in any size four-dimensional existence. So, and given the fact that we have crop circles, which are observed, and we see orbs appear over fields, and they instantly make all the crops lay down as recorded on video. And we know that the genetic bend sites on these crops bend the stems at a 45-degree angle without snapping the stem. So it's not done by man. That's completely disproven. And so this points towards a higher dimension, um, spatial dimensions, just as the Mandela effect points towards higher dimension. We're switching three-dimensional universal potentiality, and we have these Mandela effects because of it. So there's all sorts of information, and we tie in the recent work of Neil Turok to the ideals of string theory as well, because his system with the mirror universe is amazing. It's a great idea, great fundamental idea, because this follows the logical progression of the spatial dimensions. Zero dimensional is the mirror. Zero is the mirror. Okay, and so the only problem I have with his system is that he gives rise to zero dimensional fields, which I'm not sure can exist or not. That's the one thing, but I do say zero dimensional existence in my explanation. So I'm not sure if I can really go against it or not. But yeah, um, that's a very interesting concept of that. And so I have lots of information to give here in this video, and we're going to go for a while. So I wish I could go live. Make sure if you're new to this channel that you subscribe, because otherwise you'll never see this channel again. Just by sheer miracle, you're here to begin with. But as we go down through different ideals, and we connect pieces together that logically connect together, then we can create better functions. It's very important for people to logically deduce things. Okay, and one of the most recent important things is that we learned that in a system, in the Terence Howard system of mathematics, which is of an important system because the fact that it can tie together general relativity and quantum mechanics. We can tie the divide that with our current system, in which it's creating this pattern, because the problem with our mathematics system is as we pushed out towards infinity, it starts to separate and starts to have an upward trajectory mathematically that's not linear. Okay, and it takes a while for it to start going up, but that's this exact association between quantum mechanics and general relativity that makes it fall apart. So with Terence Howard's system, 1 times 1 equals 2. One thing multiplied by another thing equals two things. Okay, and if we start to do the mathematical functions for this system, as I've created in tons of my videos, if you're interested, you can watch my other videos on this topic. We can start to realize that as we approach zero with the Terence Howard system, because we step changed it, just like AC voltage and how Tesla created AC voltage. This is like an AC mathematical system. So as we do a +1 on the multiplication side and a -1 on the division side, so we have parentheses A times B, unparentheses. I mean, the little mark. I forgot what it's called. Parentheses. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, exactly. It's parentheses. I was gonna say quotes. It's not quotes. So it's definitely parentheses. But and then we do a +1 so we've got A times B +1. It's real simple. And unless we have some very functioning rules, is if you're doing zero multiplied by x or divided by x equals x. So 0 multiplied or divided by x always equals x, because 0 is true 0 in this system. It functions as true 0. And because our current system doesn't function as true 0, this is why the system holds up at the lower level and all the way down to 0. But because of that, we've pushed the problem of how it starts to fall apart when approaching towards 0, we've pushed that out to the higher end of the scale. And so our standard mathematical system doesn't dimensionally scale. It can't dimensionally scale because it starts to become less accurate the further you go up and outwards. Whereas the Terence Howard system, it becomes more accurate the more you go up and outwards. So and there's a curve that we can plot. Uh, and that's why we need both mathematical systems. We need to keep our standard mathematical system because the Terence-Howard system can't do functions for 0.5 because 0.5 in a Terence-Howard system equals a negative zero point 0.5 because 0 is absolute zero. So the moment you go on the other side of the zero and you put a point right there, 0.5, that makes it a negative. Okay, so it starts to fall apart as we approach towards zero. And we can map this correlation and put it onto the higher end of the scale, and basically fix the problem with our current mathematical system to align general relativity with quantum mechanics, and we can have a powerful system. And we have to all work together. There's lots of information out there. But ultimately, when we think about the logical progression of the spatial dimensions, like I said, that's the most important part. And then you can realize in a higher dimensional realm that our universe is toroidal in a higher dimensions, because as it should be, because it's at least bare minimum in the fourth spatial dimension, it is at least spherical in nature, because that's how we would expect it. Because just as we view things below us as a second dimension as flat and can stack infinitely into any size three-dimensional existence, the fourth spatial dimension would think everything is spherical, and infinite amounts of spherical existence can stack into any size four-dimensional existence. So we have this. There's this. That's the next level of it. Okay, just following the logical progression of the spatial dimensions, and so we can kind of picture that like a mini worlds theory, and so this becomes the new norm. It's not just like, hey, multiverse is a potentiality. Like, no, this becomes the potentiality, and given the evidence that we have, Mandela effects and different things, we have many proofs for this system. And we've solved the square root of 2 problem with the Terence-Howard system, because we have the -1 on the division side, because division was made to simplify chains of subtraction. Okay, so just as multiplication was made to simplify chains of addition. So as you go zero, or you go one thing times one thing equals 2 things. Whereas, and when we think about one thing divided by another thing, this at its base is to simplify chains of subtraction. So 1 minus 1 equals what? 0. So 1 minus 1 equals 0. So 1 divided by 1 equals 0. 1 divided by 1 would normally equal 1, but we have a -1, so it equals 0. So now that balances out the positive on the other side. And so as we have the square root of 2 divided by 1.41 equals 1.41, which is the square root of 2, and 1.41 is the square root of 2. So we're just drawing it differently on how we approach the step. So that's where we need to start to create new mathematical functions on that part of it. So there's still lots of work to be done in this field. There's lots of new things to be discovered, and we're going to have some major step changes in the way in which we do things. But this was just a video I wanted to post up here with all my information about all the different things going on, the dark matter, and how we have dark matter coming out of black holes. So that's another piece of this that's very important. How I talked about earlier, that paper that was released about black holes emitting non-baryonic matter, aka dark matter. So this increases the local area density field of dark matter and dark energy. And so this can create an illusion of accelerating expansion past the speed of light to our local area instruments. And so our current instruments aren't the best systems, but we can create better systems. We can map from more than our singular point in space and time. Even if we map our entire galaxy, it's pretty much mapping from our singular point in space and time regardless because how big the universe is. So ultimately, the entire system will have to be mapped um, extensively to be able to get accuracy. But increasing accuracy is our job. That's what we're here to do, is increase accuracy of systems and make things work better, right? That's the goal. And so that's what this mathematical system does. And so basically and with it coupled with dark matter and dark energy, that dark matter and dark energy could be extra versions of three-dimensional universe potentiality stacked on top of us and below us. So that's what dark matter and dark energy could be, and we can only observe so much of it within our stacked area near us. It's over bleeding into our systems. But I don't know how exactly we're going to work out that mathematical function. If you want to work out that would be a game changer. That's going to be an important thing to work out in the future. And so I'm trying to give as much information as I can to get some other people some things to do in here, inspire some minds to do some actions and create some functions. And if you want to run them by me, leave in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this, and we'll figure it all out together. So anyways, we are working towards this right now. And so given this logical progression of how we've arrived at all this, we know that the accelerating expansion of the universe past the speed of light is an illusion. And we also have on a toroidal universe, which I didn't explain yet, is how we have negative light speed. So on the other side of the singularity, time flows in reverse. So we have negative light speed. The constant is in a negative state. So we have a negative state of that. And if you want to look up magnetism, one of the most important videos about magnetism and how to make an actual replicatable experiment to prove that magnetism is a toroid with opposite spinning vortices. So at one side, it flows inwards and at a certain angle of inward spinning, like a vortex. And on the other side of it, it goes outwards and spins the other way. So that's the singularity right there. A magnet, at the center of the magnet is a singularity point. And just as a mirror, as a convex or concave mirror, that has a singularity point too. When you get to the point where the image flips upside down and everything goes backwards, that's a singularity point. But it's observer dependent. So singularity points are observer dependent. So we can observe these mathematical singularities in our systems through a convex or concave mirror or looking at magnetism. So if anyone says there's no proof of a singularity, tell them you have proof. There's literally proof in the mirror. Just go look in a mirror, look in a convex or concave mirror, and you'll see the proof of the singularity. Anyways, that's just another part of it. And so I just want to make this video, and I hope you all have a glorious, magnificent, wonderful, beautiful, awesome, amazing, incredible existence. And I hope that you leave me a comment and let me know what you think, because it's very important that we discuss these things and we not just live in echo chambers and not pursue our thoughts. So if you leave any comments, I reply to everyone. So if you're asking some question that's important, I will reply. If you're just saying something like leaving an emoji or something, I'll just give you a like or whatever. But if you want to talk to me, feel free, because I am open at all times. I'm not going to exclude anyone from the conversation. Everyone is allowed to participate. Okay, and I encourage that, because that's how we're going to build new systems with new open minds that are willing to adapt to new information and be logical and follow a logical progression. So anyways, I'm gonna keep it under 20 minutes. I love you all. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.